pleased to present for your consideration.
Happy New Year, everyone. This is the Jabberbox Podcast, episode 26. I'm one of your hosts, Andy Bond, and with me are the Icy Blues of the Desert, the former devil himself, Mr. Daniel Singleton.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Happy New Year.
If you're joining in for the very first time, then you should know that this show is about the two of us as we ramble on through pop culture topics such as, but not limited to, games, movies, shows, and whatever else we want to jabber about. You can get this show over on youtube.com/dandydigital or over on your favorite podcast service by searching Jabberbox and hitting that subscribe button. If you like what you hear and want to be part of the show, head on over to patreon.com/dandydigital. Welcome back, Dan.
Welcome to the future. The future is now, old man.
The future is yesterday, my friend. We took a couple weeks off for the holiday break. How was your holiday?
It was pretty good, mostly.
Yeah.
Christmas was good. New Year was Everybody in the house was sick. So, not COVID. I didn't get tested, but Jessica did, and it was negative. So, everybody had the same symptoms. We're pretty sure it was just the normal cold and flu stuff.
Yeah. Which is going around. It's the opposite of some of the friends that I know of that went out. They tried to get us to go out Christmas night out to the club or out to a bar, whatever. And we're like, you guys are fucking crazy. And then, yeah. And then I was like, I'm not going out at 11 o'clock at night on Christmas to a club. You know, that's kind of crazy. And then they all got COVID.
Well, there you go.
So I'm like, all right, well, even more of a reason why I'm glad I didn't actually go. But yeah, holidays, Christmas was fine. You know, it was good, and New Year's was okay. You know, we rang in another year, which feels like we're still in 2020. So
yeah, feels like nothing has changed in 2 years.
Yeah, so it was whatever. You know, we went and saw some friends, had some good food, had some like duck sliders and
that does sound good.
Tri-tip sliders, and we watched terrible TV. They had like the motion, the New Year's whatever, and it was like the Miley Cyrus and whatever the fuck his name is thing.
Yeah,
dude, that was garbage. And then I helped build a puzzle. So
Jessica enjoys watching Anderson Cooper get drunk every New Year's.
I didn't know that he did that.
Yeah, he sits around with somebody and they just get drunk for hours leading up to the ball drop.
That's awesome. I enjoy Anderson Cooper. That would be really fun to see.
Yeah, they were just like doing shots of tequila, and then they'd have like a martini, and then a thing of champagne, and then back to shots. The whole thing.
That's awesome. I'm gonna have to look that up to see what that's like, and then figure out how to watch it for the next year. But
what cool loot did you get?
Well, one of my gifts was supposed to be a New Year's Eve concert for Black Audio in LA that was going to be taking place in a church or like a basement of a church or something. Like, it's very LA scene.
Sure.
So I was looking forward to that, but I had to open that one up early because they canceled it because of the virus that's spreading out there, where California was in serious talks to shut the whole state down again. Yeah. So they, as a band, decided it's better to be safe or we have to cancel it, which sucks. I mean, I get it and I applaud that, but at the same time, like, that would have been really fucking neat to be in like a electronica, style concert at the basement of a church. That's the shit that you see on TV and like weird ass movies and shit like that. I never thought I was gonna have a chance to go to that, and I still don't. So we're actually going to Mary's gonna pick me up a Lego set. I'm gonna do the typewriter. So
Nice.
that'll be my replacement gift for the concert not being able to happen. Aside from that, I did get a Lego set that's the Adidas shoe, which is really fucking cool. I really enjoyed building that, and then once you have it all built, you actually have a shoelace that you put through it and tie it.
Oh, that's actually kind of cool.
Right? And like what I thought was really cool, what solidified it was when we first saw it in stores, it came in a shoebox that looked like the Adidas box. It was a blue shoebox, on the sticker on the side, it had like the shoe details and a little Lego guy. And when you open up the box, it had the Adidas flower that was done in Lego. So I feel like as far as packaging goes for a special set like this fucking took it home. And that's what really... like once we saw it in store, Mary was like, okay, I have to get that for him because the box alone is cool. Like, so if I decide, hey, I don't want to, put this up on my shelf, I want to like maybe rotate out other sets or whatever, I can lay it in the box, the shoe box, and put it in my closet with my other shoes. So
that's cool. That is cool. I've seen that set around. It doesn't, the issue. So I got Lego sets for Christmas as well. I got a few more than one or two. I think I am now up to 23 sets for Christmas.
Damn.
And 3 are on the way still. There's still shipping delays.
Oh, which ones?
Oh, shit. Let's see. I have done the Scout Trooper Star Wars helmet, Boba Fett's helmet, TIE Fighter pilot helmet, the Infinity Gauntlet, dinosaur skeleton museum display, the Apollo 11 moon lander, the Space Shuttle Discovery, the Hubble telescope, the International Space Station, which I have on display next to my Saturn V rocket Lego set now. So I have all the major NASA sets. I still have yet to complete a couple more helmets, including Venom and Iron Man. I still have to do my Iron Man art, Lego art. I got 3 copies of that set for Christmas so that I can make the ultimate version of it, which is the size of 3 of those combined. I also put together my Statue of Liberty and my Empire State Building.
Nice.
On the way is Darth Vader's helmet, my Stormtrooper helmet, and the World Lego map.
That's cool. I was actually looking at that one too.
Yeah, so that's on the way now. That is the largest piece count set they've ever produced. I'm also on the watch list. I'm keeping an eye out for Carnage. Oh, because I also have Venom that I have to put together. So I need Carnage to, finish that duo. I'm also on the back in stock alert email list for Titanic.
Nice.
And the Coliseum.
Fucking A, man. Yeah, you're gonna go big on those ones.
Yeah, those are not cheap. And once they're together, they're never coming apart.
You should get some like that Lego glue.
Well, I don't know if I want to make it truly permanent. I'm going to put them on display, but if we ever move or something, I want to be able to at least break it down somewhat for packaging purposes.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
There's some Lego company that does, it's like a third party, but they do like a clear casing so you can protect your Legos from dust and shit like that. I've
seen a lot of those. They're like resin boxes.
Yeah, they're really neat. And sometimes you can get it to where they have like a backing to it, so it looks like it's part of a scene.
I've also seen light kits for some sets.
Yep, I've seen those. I wanted to actually get the Home Alone set or like the Christmas sets, like the gingerbread house or Santa's, workshop, and put lights in there so it looks like it's being worked in.
Yeah, I came across one of those like do-it-yourself set protective cases for the the Saturn V rocket, and it's really cool because it's tall and thin, and it comes with an LED strip of lights that you can like dangle off the end of it. And what you do is you mount it in the box so it's off the ground, and you hang that LED strip, which is like it's orangish red, and you hang it off the bottom. And then there's instructions and components. It's basically taking cotton balls and forming them up into a little pile up to the back of the Lego set where the engines are. And so when you turn the lights on, it looks like it's launching.
That's awesome.
Because the cotton balls light up with that like orangish smoke fire that's coming out of, you've seen launches before.
Yeah.
So it looks like that in this box. It looks really cool.
That's neat. I would like to see you get that one for at least the first one, do it that way.
Yeah, there's some really cool ones. And I've also been introduced recently to Lego Ideas. It's a website where people build their own prototypes and put them up for display, and people vote. And if they reach 10,000 votes on this website, Lego puts them into consideration for development into an actual set. So there's a few on there that I actually went and voted for. One of them is the James Webb Space Telescope, which would go perfectly next to all my other NASA sets. So I'm hoping that one makes the grade. I have a few that have been made into sets. One of them is the dinosaur museum display. It's basically this like dinosaur fossils. So it looks like bones, but it's really cool looking. So if anybody has a chance to get that and they're into dinosaurs, I highly recommend it. I built it. Technically, it's my son's, but he's a little young for it. So I built them, and we're going to display those in his room.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's super cool. What else did you get? Or was that your main haul?
That was the big stuff.
How'd the Switch go over?
It was a big Lego year. Yeah, the family as a whole got the Switch. Jessica's been dabbling in Animal Crossing. Daniel has been learning how to play video games, starting with the Paw Patrol Save Adventure Bay. He's big into Paw Patrol right now, so figured we'd get him started with a game that's friendly to his age group and content, and he's really enjoying it.
Oh yeah, and that game's not bad either.
Yeah, and he picked up on it really quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I started playing it for Xbox separately just for the achievements.
Yeah, that's what I did. I got the 1,000 gamer score on it because it was on Game Pass. Why not?
Yeah, there's one level where I'm missing 4 pup treats and I cannot find them, and it's driving me crazy.
Which level?
The jungle level with the maze.
Oh,
I'll find them. I'll find them eventually. It's not that big a deal.
Check on top of some of the statues in there because I was missing a pack, right? Like a treat bag or whatever, because I was only missing 3, and they were on, like, you have to jump on something and then jump up. So it's out of view from the camera a little bit.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out.
So
yeah, that was all the really big stuff was the Lego sets and the Switch.
Hell yeah, man. Cool. So that was our Christmas stuff. We had a couple weeks of Crumbl as well. Might as well to get that going.
Well, we had 3 weeks, but one of the weeks was a complete repeat.
Yeah, so we skipped that one. Or at least I did. I mean, I didn't even go and get any of the cookies that week, which was fine because I had a lot of fucking pie and cake and cookies here. I didn't need a box of Crumbl. I
did only because one of my top 5 was in it.
Nice. Oh, yeah. So, if it was one of my top 5, I'd go and get that one, too.
Yep.
So, let's see. So, really, we're only going to do the 2 weeks, right? So, the 2 weeks that we had, we had Ginger Snap, Birthday Cake Christmas, Sticky Bun, Peppermint Bark, and Lemon Bar.
Yeah.
I want to go ahead and say that I fucked up. And while I did get all of them, I didn't actually taste the sticky bun in time before it went hard because of all the shit that was happening. That was leading up to Christmas, right? So, and I was very excited about that one. And I didn't get a chance. So when we went to go get cookies again, I looked and there was a whole cookie just sitting there that I had to throw out because I couldn't eat it.
That sucks because Sticky Bun is in my top 10.
Yeah. So that one I'm leaving there as a note saying I need to get it when it does a repeat.
Yeah,
So,
it was really solid. It has caramel, has brown sugar, has walnuts. There's also a thin layer of brown sugar like inside the cookie, so it's like a cinnamon roll. It's really good. It is so good. Yeah, I highly recommend. It sucks that you missed out on that one. That is my number 10 all time, so it made it to the top 10.
Well, we'll see where that lands on mine once I actually get around to tasting it, because that was actually one of my top ones and I was saving it for last, and then Christmas just totally got in our fucking way and I forgot about it.
So these things happen. It'll be back around. It's not like eggnog where you're gonna have to wait a year.
Yeah, and honestly, they were all fine. The lemon bar was good. Ginger snap was really good. I really liked that one. The ginger snap one was that was actually better than good. That was phenomenal.
Ginger snap was my highest rated of the new cookies. It was number 8 all time.
Yeah, mine hit number 11 on that list.
It was
really good.
Amazing. Yeah.
It was one of those, like, what I like about it is that it was soft, and then when you, like, it had the sugar, right?
Yeah,
that you could see.
The thick grain of sugar.
Yes, on the top.
On top.
Yep. I'm a fan of that. Like, I love that shit on cupcakes and whatever, but when I see it on the cookie, I was very excited to try that one. That one was the first one I went for that week.
Well, I had to go back to get that one because normal weeks, I pick up my cookies on Monday on from work. I went in and they were like, oh, because they know me at this point. They're like, oh, we're really sorry. We don't have any ginger snaps. The person that made the daily batch this morning screwed up the recipe, so we're not going to have any more until tomorrow. So they actually they made it right though, because they know why I'm getting the cookies. So they gave me a coupon for a free cookie. They're like, sorry for the inconvenience. We got when you come back to get it, we got you covered.
Awesome.
So
that's nice of them.
Yeah, that was super cool.
So I will try that one. The next one, the birthday cake, Christmas, it was fine. It's birthday cake. It's kind of what you expect. And then what one of that really surprised me was the peppermint bark. So like I can go either way when it comes to like the peppermint bark candy. So when I tried the cookie, I was not expecting it to do, all that, I thought it was going to be toward the bottom. It still hit like number 21, but that's still like really high for my cookies and my tastes. You know what I mean? That was really good. It was a soft chocolate bottom and then the cream cheese with the peppermint on the top, man. It was just really solid.
Yep. That came in number 55 for me. I think it was because I don't know what it is. Most of the time when they have their chocolate cookie as the base, it's really dry for me.
Yeah, tell them to change it up.
I don't know what's up.
Over baking, maybe. Tell them to turn the temperature down a little bit.
Could be. But then there's other cookies that they nail perfectly with the baking. Like, for instance, the ginger snap, where it was like crunchy on the outside and soft and warm on the inside. It was perfect.
Yeah, it could be that they're using the same temperature for all cookies, like rookies.
Maybe.
You know what I mean? Because chocolate needs to be set at different temperatures.
It's possible.
So
I think the one I was most looking forward to was the lemon bar. And
yeah.
I was a little disappointed. I'm not terribly disappointed, but a little bit. It still got a solid 4 out of 5 stars for me, but it wasn't where I was hoping it would be.
Yeah.
It was nice and creamy, and it had a good lemon flavor for the icing. But I felt like it didn't pair quite right with a sugar cookie base. It should have been a lemon cookie base.
I would agree with that. I felt like the lemon could have been more lemony. You know what I mean? When I get a lemon square, I want it to kick me in the fucking jaw.
Yeah, so I think the sugar cookie mellowed out that lemon flavor. So it was there, but it wasn't what I was hoping for.
Yeah. Awesome, man. So that's, I think that's it for that week, right? And then this week actually was kind of a light week for me because I had two duplicates. You know, we had the chocolate chip M&M and then the honey bun, which was a duplicate for me. So really, it was the peanut butter bar, the chocolate cake with Heath, and then the cookie cup. And the chocolate cake with Heath hit the bottom. So because of the Heath, it had a weird coffee-ish taste to it for me. So that came at number 88. So that was out of 93. So
that's funny because Heath is one of my favorite candy bars. And I really like the whipped icing on this instead of the thick cream cheese type of icing that they usually use.
Right.
So that was a nice change, and I really liked that. But I didn't really taste the Heath or the toffee flavor at all.
Yeah, I had big chunks on mine.
I did too. And I could not taste it past the cookie and the icing. So they had the Heath on there, but I got none of that flavor.
That's interesting. Yeah, I got a lot of that flavor. Or I don't want to say a lot. I got a lot of the aftertaste of the Heath, which I wasn't a fan of.
Nah.
So I had a section of it. I didn't even finish that section, and I won't go for the rest of the cookie.
And I'm not saying it's a bad cookie. I actually really liked the cookie because, like I said, it's that chocolate cake base cookie, but they had that whipped frosting on it, so it added that creaminess to it, and it wasn't as dry as I usually find the chocolate cookies. So the cookie, even though I couldn't taste the Heath, it was still a really great cookie to me.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. Yeah, I mean, sometimes you have to have a little tweak to it to make it even better for, yourself or whatever. But after that, the peanut butter bar was pretty good. I felt
that was my, I think, lowest rated of all of them.
Of the week or of all time?
Not of all time.
Okay.
Of this review.
Yeah. I thought that one was pretty solid. I'm a peanut butter fan, so it's pretty hard to mess that up. It's basically what you would think that a peanut butter bar is. It's got the chocolate, it's got the peanut butter, it's got the cookie. There you go. But
there was something up with ours. I don't know. It tasted really dusty to me and weird. And it ended up being the icing, apparently. Jessica tasted it as well. And she said that it had like a truffle kind of flavor in the chocolate icing. And that there was a lot of cocoa powder that was probably used to make it. And so that's what created that dusty feeling in the mouth.
Yeah. Probably wasn't mixed.
It's possible. I don't know. It wasn't good. I don't know what was up with it, but there was something, and it did not hit the spot.
Yeah, when I had mine, it was very creamy, and moist and shit like that. So I didn't get any of that dusty flavor.
Yeah.
So while that said, though, it came in about 18 for me, which is still pretty high, top 20, out of 93 cookies, But the one that really took the cake, as they say, was the cookie cup. That struck the top 10, being number 10. That one, the cookie cup for that. Right chocolate chips, and it came in like a little dish that reminded me, with it being kind of underbaked a little bit, like the skillet cookies that you would get.
This is with that cookie. That cookie came in 79 all time for me.
Damn.
It was just a chocolate cookie inside of a Reese's cup, paper cup thing.
Yeah.
There wasn't really anything. It was a good cookie, but it was just a chocolate chip cookie. It was nothing special.
Oh my God. Yeah. It was so gooey. And like I said, it had like that underbaked,
Mine
dough
was
to it.
Mine was maybe overbaked. It was not underbaked at all. It was,
because you know what I'm talking about, right? When you get the skillet cookie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's exact like that. I was very excited about it. And when I saw it, I was like, that's neat. When I cut into it, like the knife like just went right through it like butter. And then when I picked it up, you could tell that it had that moist, underbaked look to it. And as soon as I fucking popped it in my mouth, it melted, man. It was good. It was really good. So
your experience may differ, I suppose.
Right? But that's all I have for the cookies this week. And
that was the cookies for. Well, that's all the new cookies for the past couple weeks.
Right.
So like we said, the week in between was a complete repeat. So we're not going to go over stuff we've talked about in the past.
Yeah, exactly. Cool, man. Well, I'm gonna definitely keep an eye out for when they do a repeat of that.
The sticky bun or
the sticky
bun. Oh my! It was really good. So yes, please do.
So, and I will check in on that one. But we have other things to go through, man. So part of like one, I wanted to bring it up, and I don't know if anybody else have had this, but this last couple weeks, I don't know if it's getting older or if it's like your body's starting to turn to shit because you're getting older. But I was having like a huge struggle up until today, right? I put it on the doc to talk about it, and then last night and this morning I woke up and it was completely gone. But I've had something in my throat for the last couple weeks, right? And it's not that like it's a sickness.
Just ask your boyfriend to back up a few inches.
You know what? I was hoping that they would push it in, like get it out of there, man. So like it happened after I ate, right? And something got stuck in my throat. And so I tried to clear it. I tried to cough. I tried to drink something. I tried to eat other things, and it just wouldn't go away. It was like a constant thing in my throat that was uncomfortable, not like painful. It didn't really make my throat sore or like the glands inflamed or anything like that, but it felt like something was just lodged in my throat. And so I started looking up the issues with it, and I was thinking maybe it had something to do with like acid reflux, maybe like it's like there's like a, I don't know, because I know that we have like flaps and random skin and shit like that in your esophagus, right? So I wasn't sure if something like flipped inside out almost, and so it was like pointing up, which could be the case. The other night I tried to stick my finger in my throat to see if I can make myself throw up, to see if that would help it. You know what I mean? Because if I can't swallow it, I wanted to try to come up the other way, and I couldn't do it. But I felt something there, which made me feel really worried. So I started looking up, going into the doctor and stuff. And when I woke up this morning, it was gone. So I wasn't sure if like you ever had that issue or if that's something,
I have had that issue, and it ended up being tonsil stones.
Tonsil stones?
Tonsil stones.
The fuck is that?
They're mostly harmless. They're just your tonsils. If you have them, you do still have them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like how do you describe it? Like pearlized bacteria. Like bacteria gets stuck in there, and then it starts to harden and it just accumulates, and then your tonsils are just like, well, shit, get this out of here, and then they shove it out. But it can take, if it gets to be too big, it can feel like something is stuck in there, and you have to like hack it up. So I've had them in the past.
Interesting.
So it could be, this is not medical advice. I'm not a doctor, blah, blah, blah. But I have had that in the past, and that's what it ended up being.
Weird. Okay. Yeah, I just looked it up, and fuck, man, that could be something like that. I'll have to look into seeing what causes that, other than like the bacteria. Like, what is it that really does it? But yeah, it bothered the shit out of me for quite some time, and I was starting to get a little worried because I was having some trouble sleeping, and I thought maybe like it was that could be the cause. Like I even went and got the nose strips so I could, try to breathe better while I sleep. And I have been progressively starting to sleep better over the last couple of days since getting the strips. And now the thing is gone. And yeah, I just wasn't sure. So I was actually getting a little scared.
No, that's fair. You never know.
I was like, I don't want to suffocate my sleep. That would suck.
That would not be ideal.
So anyway,
I had a weird thing recently too, where the tip of my nose like got irritated and it swole, but it wasn't anything on the outside. It was something inside, and it was painful to just touch the tip of my nose. Anywhere else on my nose, no big deal. It was kind of like, when you get like an ingrown hair.
Yeah.
It felt like it might have been that, but inside my nostril. And then I just woke up one day and it was fine. Just like that. It was around for about 3 days and then it was just gone.
Man.
So weird things happen. Like I don't know for sure what it was. It felt like similar to an ingrown hair, but I don't know if that was what it was. I have no idea.
Fucking mysteries, man. Medical mysteries in our bodies. That's fucking crazy. Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, it could have been an ingrown hair, and that's most likely what it was.
Most likely, and it probably just,
lay off the cocaine, man.
Got worked out, or I'll do my best. It's not an addiction; it's a disease.
Right. It's only an addiction when it's a problem. And I can go to work and pay rent, so it's not a problem.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like gambling. Gambling's not a problem unless you're losing.
That's true. If you're winning, it's definitely not a problem, is it? And so on a little bit of speaking of medical issues, man, 2021 just went out with a bang, didn't it? There was Betty White right there at the end, hours before the new year.
Fuck, man. And just like weeks before her 100th birthday, which sucks. And I say it all the time. And I made a post about it, like on Facebook and shit like that. And it could have come off as me making a joke, but I honestly believe it. If that lady didn't make it to 100, what fucking hope does anybody else? You know what I mean?
That's true.
Like that, she wasn't just like a old lady that sat around waiting to die. Like she was out there fucking living her best life.
Active until the day she died.
Yeah. Sandwiched between two 30-year-olds. Maybe, no, just kidding.
Hey, I wasn't there. I don't know.
Yeah, right? It's a Parks and Rec reference. It's Grandma Meagle, if you ever see that show. But yeah, like that was crazy. So Betty White was New Year's Eve.
Yeah, but it got me thinking, like how many, like 2021 felt so much like 2020. Like nothing has changed. The concept of time is almost nothing at this point. But then I started looking through like all of the notable deaths, of which there was a lot. But of course, the notable deaths list, a lot of those I've never heard of. A lot of those people. You'll get a poet from Thailand,
right?
Or a 97-year-old singer from like Mexico. Those are not people that I would generally identify by look or name. But I was looking through this list, and I'm sure I missed some. But we had Betty White, Norm Macdonald, John Madden, Charlie Watts, Michael Collins, Bob Dole, Prince Philip, Jessica Walter, Larry King, Hank Aaron, Siegfried and Roy, and Richard Marcinko. Those are like the big names that I noticed in my list.
That was 2021?
That was just 2021.
The only deaths I had heard about, Betty White, Norm Macdonald, John Madden, and Larry King.
Yeah.
Everybody else just flew under the radar. I didn't realize like Bob Dole was out and fucking Siegfried. I didn't know he left. Or Hank Aaron.
You probably heard about Prince Philip as well.
Yeah. Because he's a prince. He's
right. He's the fucking de facto king of England.
Yeah.
Or king of the UK or whatever the title is.
Yeah, so I did hear his, but like everybody else I did not even know.
Yeah, Jessica Walter. She's gone.
I actually don't know. I can't recall who that is.
She was Lucille Bluth.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Archer's. She voiced Archer's mother, Mallory.
Yep.
Yeah.
I did hear about that.
Yep. Michael Collins. He was on the return capsule for Apollo 11 while Armstrong and Aldrin went down to the lunar surface. So he's the Apollo 11 crewmate that most people forget about.
Right.
But he's gone. So now Buzz Aldrin's the only one of the three left. Charlie Watts, the Rolling Stones drummer, longtime original drummer. So yeah, Richard Marcinko, the founder of SEAL Team 6. Hank Aaron, obviously baseball legend.
Right.
Siegfried, who honestly I didn't realize was still around, but he was.
Yeah.
Sheldon Adelson also, because now that we're thinking about Vegas, he also died last year, and he was the owner of like the Sands and the Palms out there. So yeah, some pretty significant names, and then this year already we've had some. I just saw this morning that Sidney Poitier died.
I did not even hear that.
Yep, that was just announced this morning.
Wow.
So yeah, 2022 off to a rip-roaring start.
Yeah, right.
And obviously there will be more. So now I'm starting to wonder if the Queen is going to make it to her Jubilee celebration. That's supposed to be in like June, I think. I think that will be one of the most momentous deaths in human history.
Yeah. She's definitely been around.
Yeah.
For quite some time.
Yeah.
I guess only time will tell, right? Something to look forward to, I guess, to see.
Well,
I mean, not necessarily her death, but like, looking forward to seeing like what the year has in store for us.
Yeah. Well, I know that one of the next major events is going to be the Winter Olympics, taking place February 4th through the 20th in Beijing, in the Beijing area in China, which I'm curious how this is going to play out, because they just announced that they are closing Disneyland in Hong Kong because of COVID concerns. So what are the Chinese going to do when people from around the world start to show up in huge numbers for Olympics?
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if they stopped it. If they closed Disneyland down, they're not the only ones that have actually canceled an event for people, already because of that. It's because we're starting to see more spikes, right? And I think while it didn't like go away, right, the holidays and everybody getting together really caused that spike to become much more noticeable than what people were,
Sure.
taking into effect. It's like like Christmas, like I just said, all my friends went out, they all got it, as a Christmas gift. So it's one of those things, and kind of jumping ahead a little bit, but E3 announced that they're not doing an in-person event this year. They've canceled that, so it'll be a digital only event for the summertime because of COVID concerns as well, because it took place in California. And again, that state was already debating if they should shut down completely again. Right. So it's not like it, is a surprise.
Unfortunately.
And I think Disneyland here, in California is going to be shutting down, which
again,
yeah,
we still have, we got tickets to go to Disneyland in 2019 for Christmas.
Yeah. Yep. Us too.
And they are still sitting in the house. They're just sitting here, and they technically expired at the end of 2020.
So we did ours digital, and they said that we were good for 2 years.
Right. I don't know what they're going to do, because ours are they look like gift cards.
Right.
And it says go to the front ticket window at Disneyland to get your tickets, and you just give them those, and they give you your tickets. But the card says expires December 31st, 2020. So I'm sure that they're going to. We've tried reaching out and sending emails and we just get generic responses back with no real answer of what they're going to do. So remains to be seen whether or not we ever get to use that like $700 worth of stuff. That
You should be able to. I mean, check the fine print, see if there's anything about it, because nobody was expecting a pandemic, so nobody has anything in their terms and agreements about pandemic.
That's true. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know what to do. We got to research a little more.
So hopefully,
but for good things to look forward to, I am looking forward to the Winter Olympics because I want to watch Team USA defend the men's curling gold medal. That's one of the Winter Olympic sports that I enjoy. Curling.
The curling.
Yeah, because I feel like there's skill involved, but it's not particularly athletic per se. Like you could play that game while drinking beer. Right? So I just enjoy watching it because it's kind of ridiculous.
I got a question then. So for curling, they use a special stone, correct?
Correct.
What's going to happen when that stone is used up? Because isn't it like
yes, it
starting
is,
to thin out?
It's running low.
Yeah.
There is a quarry, I believe it's in Scotland, where every stone for professional curling comes from. But like by regulation has to meet certain standards, and that has to be the location it comes from. So they're probably just going to have to find a different location to quarry from and change those regulations in the governing body of that sport. Because I don't know what else they would do. Because over time, you can't even like really repair old curling stones because they chip and they have to be certain dimensions. You can't add stone, like you can't repair it per se.
Right.
So they're going to have to address it, I'm sure, at some point.
Would you think that you would be able to like break down all the old ones and then rebuild it in with a new mold?
Well, they're solid stone. They're not like compressed.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, they could change the regulations in the governing body, though. So it would depend on what they do. They'll have to think of something.
Yeah. Otherwise, curling stops being an Olympic sport.
Pretty much.
Or a sport.
Yeah.
So you know what I want to see in the Olympics? And this could be for the Summer Olympics, of course. But I want to see the stone skipping. So I sent you guys a video to our group chat.
Yep.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
I came across that. I don't even know how. It was just fucking around on social media, right? But it was so funny to watch these guys just take it super serious. And while they're taking it super serious, which is ridiculous on its own, it's also somewhat ridiculous how many times you can skip these stones. You know, people were hitting like 48 times. You know, and we're fucking thrilled when we can bounce it 8 times off a pond. So, I don't know, man. Yeah, I would watch the Olympics if they had that.
Did you watch the Marble Olympics that I mentioned?
No.
On YouTube? Oh my god.
You know, I pulled it up on my computer and then I did an update and then I've totally forgot about going, and checking it out again. Yeah.
Like I said, watch the newer ones like 2021 because the production quality is much higher. It's ridiculous and entrancing. Like you'll sit there and you're like, okay, I'll watch a couple minutes of this, and 40 minutes go by.
That's funny. Yeah. All right. It's on my phone now. I see it.
Good. So one other thing I want to mention that is a huge, cool thing that's going to be happening in 2021 that cannot be canceled because of COVID, no matter what. Well, unless we all die, then it'll still happen. Just nobody will see it. There are going to be 2 total lunar eclipses this year that will be visible from the United States, most of the United States. May 15th. So these are based on Arizona date and times. If you're listening somewhere else in the world, please look up the exact date and time will be the best view for you. But for us in Arizona, May 15th at 21:11 or 9:11 p.m. Will be the best viewing moment for the first one. And November 8th at 03:59 or 3:59 in the morning a.m. On November 8th of this year will be the best times to view the total lunar eclipse.
I don't know if I'll see the one on November 8th. I don't know if I want to get up for that, but it seems cool. I like space, events like that. So I'll definitely try to catch at least one of them.
So I'm guessing I probably will see. I probably will see both of them, only because I get up at 4 a.m. to go to work anyway. So November 8th is a Tuesday. It's actually Election Day in the United States, November 8th. So I'll be going to work that day, and I'll be up anyway. So why not get up 10 or 15 minutes earlier than normal to see something like that?
Right.
So I'm pretty excited for that. So I thought I'd push that out there and let other people know.
That's cool.
And like I said, it's not something that can ever be canceled by people because of COVID. So no matter what, those are coming.
Right.
Something to look forward to that's guaranteed.
So that's awesome. But you know what else is coming up that we can look forward to?
What's
whole mess of things. So let's go ahead and we want to jump in. And I want to kind of talk about this first before we talk about what we've been playing. So what I wanted to do this episode was kind of talk about what we're excited to play in 2022. And these have to be games that are coming out in 2022, and they have to have a release date. You know what I mean? There's a lot of games that are slated, quote unquote, to come out in 2022, but we have no fucking idea. Things can delay. Yeah, even these can be delayed, even with the dates, but kind of to keep the list a little bit smaller, I wanted to go through that. So,
all right.
So what, Dan, what are you excited to play in 2022?
So off the top, I'm just going to start with a fully functional Halo Infinite. Specifically co-op campaign.
How about that multiplayer? You've been having a blast with that.
Yeah, define having a blast. The multiplayer's fun. I do enjoy big team battle, and I enjoy the bot boot camp play type. But the randomized game type, I'm not a fan of that. Like, if I want to play Slayer, I'd like to be able to select Slayer. If I want to play King of the Hill or Oddball, or what they don't call it King of the Hill anymore, but the game type I'm talking about.
Right.
If I want to play a specific game type, I want to be able to go pick that. I don't want to just be like every 7 games I happen to get the one I want to play, and I have to suffer through all this other bullshit. And there's no incentive to perform well one way or the other. You get the same amount of experience whether you win or lose, or you die 20 times or it doesn't matter. You get the same amount of experience.
Right.
So who cares? Like, just join a game and then just run around. Who cares if you win or lose? There's no incentive, which also kind of sucks. But the co-op campaign is what I'm looking forward to most, personally. I've already beaten the campaign twice solo. So it'll be fun to do it with people once they get that hashed out.
And I want to try that. Hopefully they don't patch that, but the gun exploit that you were telling us about.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Which would suck.
So why don't you let people know what the gun exploit was?
So there is, when you play through and you unlock all the skulls, you can go in and do legendary or lasso, legendary and all skulls active, or on. And there is a part in the game pretty early on where you can pick up as a handheld weapon an equivalent of the Scorpion tank with unlimited ammo. And you can kind of cheese your way through playing with that for the whole game.
It sounds super cool.
It will 2 or 3 shot everything in the game. Most typical enemies are going to be 1 shot with that thing. Bosses, 2 or 3 shots.
That's awesome.
So
I really want to. I hope they don't patch that out, because I would like for us when we get the chance to do co-op on Legendary, we all just grab it and then just blow through it.
I'm not. I don't know if they will, because I mean, how did it get in the game in the first place?
Yeah.
What's weird about it is that it's an invisible gun. So you can look up a YouTube video on where it's located because you can't see it. So I don't know how it was found or discovered. I don't know the backstory of it. And it's not in a place that you would normally just like be walking around and be like, oh, there's a gun here. Let me pick that up. And if you're playing the game and you have that in your hands, don't accidentally grapple another gun or pick up another gun because you will drop that one and it's invisible and you'll never find it.
Now, does it still do like a pop-up, like a pickup, almost like when you're standing over a weapon where it's like press X or press Y to collect it or whatever?
Okay. It does, but it's invisible and very, very small. So it's in a very specific location that's easy to find if you look up the video. But if you just drop it randomly on a game, on a battlefield in the game, you're going to have a real hard time finding that again.
What happens if you die?
It resets you to your checkpoint with it in your hand.
Cool.
So there was a couple times when I had to I accidentally dropped it because I was grappling and it picked up a gun instead of grappling and it just went flying. And so I just threw grenades on the ground until I died and it reset me.
That's cool. Yeah, I want to try it, man. That sounds like a blast, especially after you beat it, because you have to do with all skulls, right?
What do you mean have to?
Well, it's like the way you were stating it is that it's after you've beat the game and you've collected all the skulls.
No, it's there no matter how you're playing.
Oh, fuck. Do you think if I go back?
But it makes I don't know if you can go back and get it. I don't know. Everything I've seen says get it early. I don't know if that means because it disappears or not. I'm not sure.
I'm going to try it.
It helps with the lasso playthrough for sure.
Yeah.
The problem is that getting to the part in the game where you can get to it with lasso turned on is already very difficult.
So what's the lasso?
Legendary, all skulls on.
Oh, okay.
So you have no heads up display. You have upgraded enemies. They have more health. They have they throw more grenades. You have unlimited ammo, so that's nice because that's one of the skulls. But you can't see what weapon you're holding. You can't see what grenades you have selected. You can't see what equipment you have selected. Your heads-up display is gone. You can't even see your crosshairs, so you're not entirely sure how precise your aim is.
That's always the center of your TV.
Sure, but when you're trying to snipe or hit somebody with a very specific shot, that's pretty difficult.
Yeah, I'm gonna check it. I'm gonna look up the video. I'm gonna see about going in on my playthrough and see if it's there, or if I can get to it. Like
you can definitely get back to where it's located, but I don't know if it disappears after a set amount of time.
That's awesome. That's cool. All right, so then aside from the Halo co-op campaign or the complete, fully functional Halo Infinite, what game are you excited to play in 2022? Or games?
It's a little ways out. November 11th, 2022, Starfield will be released on PC and Xbox. And I'm looking forward to that quite a bit. I'm a big fan of Bethesda's games in general, particularly their open world, Elder Scrolls type of games. I enjoy those a lot. I get pretty involved in those for quite a while. And this sounds like it's basically that set in space. So it sounds like it's a mix between like Fallout and Mass Effect is what it sounds like to me. And I enjoyed both of those games a lot. And I'm looking forward to playing this.
That'll be cool. Yeah, that's that one didn't make it on my list, but I'm more curious about it than excited. So
There's a ton of customization options also. Like your character is fully customizable top to bottom, everything you can think of. You can play it in the first person view, third person perspective. And this is going to be Bethesda's first new intellectual property, like from scratch build up in 25 years. So they have been riding their own coattails for quite some time, and now they're they're looking to branch out and introduce something new.
that's
And
good.
I think that's going to be a nice change of pace.
Well, it's good to a point, I guess. I mean, obviously, there's different teams within a company. So, do you think adding the new IP is going to slow down work for the next Elder Scrolls or the next Fallout that are going to be coming out, after this? Because now that, you're bringing in that third game to kind of rotate, and these games are already big.
They also just got bought out by Microsoft.
That's true. So they're going to have a lot of resources.
So I think they'll have more resources than they did before.
And I think they kind of slimmed down their time too, because they're not going to be putting things on other consoles like PlayStation. They'll just focus on the one console.
That's true as well.
Cool, man. So I have a list. And so I'll just kind of go down it. It's funny that your first and only game was the jump, right into a one that's in November, because we were putting them in kind of chronological order of when they're supposed to be coming out. I hope that Starfield makes it. That's usually one of those types of games that are going to be delayed, or it can be delayed. So hopefully it makes it in 2022. Because I know that they've been working on it for quite some time.
I hope so.
But so let's go ahead and I want to jump right into it then. So the games coming up in 2022, the first one coming out is going to be January 28th, which is going to be Pokemon Legends Arceus, which will be coming out for the Nintendo Switch. Essentially, if you haven't been paying attention or it's not your type of game, you're returning to the region of Sinnoh, which was the remakes of Diamond and Pearl. That's where that took place. And it's essentially like the feudal era of that land, right? So you have these clans that you're going up against. You have the Diamond Clan, you have the Pearl Clan, kind of, plays off of the whole Diamond Pearl versions. And Arceus is one of the, I think he's the god of Pokemon, essentially. Like, he created Pokemon. So it'll be interesting to see this semi or pseudo open world that is similar to like the Sword and Shield wild area. So while it's not like completely open world like a Bethesda game or like Breath of the Wild, it's going to be open world, for a Pokemon game, which will match kind of like what Sword and Shield had. So if you've played those and you've been in the wild area, that's what it's going to be like. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that game plays out, because as we've gotten older, we've also wanted Pokemon to kind of grow up with us a little bit. And while I don't think it's going to take over the main games and how they're set up, I think this would be a welcomed side project. So if this one does really well, then they might do like the Pokemon Legends, Lugia or whatever, and Johto, you know what I mean? Or like Pokemon Legends Mew, and you're running around Kanto with the originals and stuff like that. So that would be pretty cool. One of the next one, so Pathfinder, Wrath of the Righteous. So this is a sequel to the Pathfinder game that's out now. Pathfinder is just like a D&D, game, like a Diablo. You're a top-down adventure dungeon crawler type game that'll be coming out for PlayStation and Xbox on March 1st. So if anybody knows anything about us, it's those types of games are kind of what we do, Like before we started growing up on our own and going our separate ways, we played a lot of Dungeons and Dragons. We've talked about Demio, which is a Dungeons and Dragons like. So the Pathfinder games are pretty cool. If you haven't tried those ones, just stay away from the Dark Alliance game. That one was not good. But yeah. So the next one, I feel like if anybody likes the tactical RPGs, Triangle Strategy will be coming out on the Nintendo Switch on March 4th. Silly name from Square Enix, but it's essentially what it says. It's a tactical RPG designed in the 2.5 HD style that was similar to Octopath Traveler, and I believe that they're remaking a game like Chrono Cross or Chrono Trigger that's going to be done in the 2.5 HD style. And then there's also like the Elysium Chronicles, like Kickstarter game that's done up by a lot of heavy hitters in the industry that'll be doing the same sort of gameplay, like graphics. Really pretty looking, and I feel like the tactical play is pretty cool on its own. So I'm very much looking forward to that. On March 10th for the Nintendo Switch is Chocobo GP, the Mario Kart clone with the Final Fantasy characters. That's got me pretty excited because I like Mario Kart and I like Final Fantasy, so why not mash them together? And if Diddy Kong Racing can make a successful kart career, then so should the Chocobo GP. So I highly implore anybody who has a Switch to look into it and hopefully get it so we can race each other. Dan.
Yeah, I haven't. Yeah, I got with the family getting the Switch. My game that I got, because we got the Switch for the family and everybody got their own game, and mine was Mario Kart. I have not played it yet though. I'm slacking.
A lot of fun. So, but yeah, the Chocobo GP. If you like Mario Kart, you should, in theory, like this if they do it well, and it looks like they are. So. The next one comes out March 16th for Xbox is Tunic, which is the indie Legend of Zelda clone that's going to be coming out. They announced this, I don't even know when, 2017, something like that. Like, this has me excited to want, have an Xbox Series X, and it's made me want to have that console before I even thought about getting that console. So it's, the adventure puzzle game. It's a Zelda game. Even the little fox character that you control has a sword and a green tunic. So it's pretty easy for me to get to. I think that's it for what I'm excited for 2022. I only get out to March. That's not including any of the games that are to be determined of their release date. I know God of War is supposed to be coming out, but they don't have a release date. But again, they said that game was supposed to be out in 2021. They didn't make it. So if they do it like the first God of War, it may not even make it here, and they may push it off to March 2023. So it has a window by itself outside the holidays, outside the major games coming out. 'Cause Starfield's going to be a big one. You know what I mean? While God of War was very awesome in 2018, and people are very much looking forward to this game, it might be smart to kind of delay it a couple months and then push it out when it has nothing but that to play. So
yeah, it definitely opens up the ability for it to make a lot more money.
Yeah,
no competition.
I think it's still going to do a lot of money, especially right before the holiday. I mean, there's people, like, I've been known to do this, where I'll buy a game when it comes out, and then I won't play it right away. Because it's like, I know I want that game, so I'm just going to go ahead and pick it up, and then I'm going to finish whatever it is that I'm playing right now. So it could be that thing where it's like, I'm playing Starfield, let me pick up God of War, and then I'll just sit on God of War. But I'm not going, who are we kidding? I'm going to jump into that one, because the first game was really fucking good. So and this one's supposed to wrap up that story. They even came out, they being the I think Santa Monica is who does the God of War games. They said that they don't want to wait 15 years to put out another game to wrap up a story, for like the third game. So they're kind of making this particular, game set to be a duology. You know what I mean? So
okay,
yeah, it's gonna be really cool. But that's what we're excited to play in 2022. We'll see what other games come out. With E3, like we said, is going to be online only. They could be announcing all kinds of fucking games that come out this year.
Yeah, I'm hoping we get to hear more about how they're going to develop Mass Effect 5 on Unreal Engine 5.
Yeah, they came out on Twitter. Did you see that?
Yeah, they have said I want to know more. And I'm hoping E3 is where they do that.
Well, I think we'll get that. But did you see that the poster that they shared on N7 Day? And they're like, hey, there's secrets in this poster that nobody's aware of.
I did not see that.
So yeah, I'll have to shoot that over to you. I think it might be that article that I posted in our doc here, the BioWare teases Mass Effect and Dragon Age updates, because they did talk about both of those things. And they actually showed, if you pull it, there's a poster there on IGN, that if you open it up, it shows the ship that's there, right? The ship looks like it's from Andromeda a little bit. Then you have like a couple characters that are, you see them like it's very sky view, so you see like maybe like 4 shadows, 4 dots. So it's like, okay, is this going to be and what IGN says is like, is this a smaller cast that we're going to have, so it's only going to be the 4, which would make sense because after the last games, we're kind of all stranded throughout the galaxy. So that could be it. The poster has essentially an outline of a Geth, which was the robotic beings in that game. And then if you look at it, like the face of, or like where the Geth lens would be, that's supposed to be like a planet. And then you see like a little moon off to the side. So that could be the location. We just don't know, is it on Earth? Or, you know what I mean? So.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. I found it. So yeah, I see what you're talking about. That's interesting. First time I've seen that.
So. But I'm excited, and I'm actually, they put Mass Effect on Game Pass, so I'm like, should I run through this again?
I'm probably going to at some point.
Because I really liked it when it came out, and that was the first time I played it, which was last year, right, on the PlayStation when they did the Legendary Edition. So much that I'm like, I could jump into it again and play through it, so... I read a couple of the books already and played the game, so like, I'm super late to the party, but I'm here to party with Mass Effect. And then Dragon Age, I like the messaging that they're putting out there for Dragon Age 4, where they're like, we hear you, we understand, and we're gonna try to make the best single player experience that we can make. Which is super thrilling for me because they were going to be doing this as like a games as a service, like Anthem or Destiny or whatever. And that's not what I wanted from a Dragon Age game.
Right.
Or at least the core game. Like, do a spinoff if you want to do shit like that and see how that plays. You know what I mean? But if you're going to change the formula on a mainstay, storyline, that sucks. And they changed their mind on there, and it sounds like they're committed to pushing that. So I'm very excited.
Party on, Wayne.
Right? Party on, Garth. So hopefully E3 we get to see more about Dragon Age as well.
To be determined, I suppose.
But that's...
I would say it's pretty high likelihood. E3
I hope so.
A really major event.
True, and they've been sitting on this ship for quite some time. So I would like to see it actually, maybe a gameplay trailer, like in-game engine, something. I know it's not going to come out this year. That'll probably be like the next year type game. But like, give us something. So, especially Dragon Age. Give me that, man. Like that is my game for sure. Also, PlayStation came out. So, what is it? CES, I believe is what it's called. Was just happening. Yeah, CES 2022. So a lot of it's like the tech, right? It's the computer type stuff. So, but Sony was there and they showed off, or they didn't show off. They were on stage and they officially announced the PlayStation VR 2, and that is what the name of it is going to be called, PSVR 2. Which, keep it simple. We don't need any fucking crazy ass names. We want to know what it is. It's a VR unit, and it's the second iteration. It's not going to be confusing to the consumers. So, hopefully we pick this up.
Gotta hand it to Sony and PlayStation for their naming, because it's not exciting or inventive, but it's perfectly logical. There's nothing wrong with it.
Right.
PlayStation 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Exactly. And everybody knows, hey, I want the PlayStation 4. Shit. What did he want? The PlayStation. But which one? I think it's the fourth one, So he said 4. So yeah, I totally get where you're coming from. It's kind of like Nintendo Switch, Nintendo DS, the GameCube, the Xbox One, Xbox Series X,
Xbox One X, Xbox Series X. What?
Yeah. So
Come on. Come on, guys.
exactly. Keep it. There's nothing wrong with keeping it simple. So the latest PlayStation blog was pretty much laying out what some of the information was for the PlayStation VR 2. So it's going to, as we already saw the controllers, it resembles that of like the Hive, or I think it's the Valve Hive or whatever, but it also resembles a little bit of the Oculus Quest 2. So it's the controller that wraps around your hand, and it's going to have finger awareness, so it knows what you're doing with your hand as opposed to just like pressing just the buttons. But the helmet itself is going to be an OLED display with a 2000 by 2040 per eye panel resolution. So essentially it's running in 4K.
Dang.
For this fucking headset. So the headset's also going to support the 90 hertz and 120 hertz with a field view of approximately 110 degrees, which is really fucking cool, man. Like, I was very excited about it. The other information that they showed off for it, I'm pulling up the blog post here. So it's going to be OLED 2000 by 2040 per eye. The lens separation. So lenses are adjustable for people that need to wear glasses and such. The sensors, it's going to be motion sensor, 6-axis motion sensing system. So 3-axis gyroscope with a 3-axis accelerometer. The attachment sensory IR proximity sensor. Essentially, the lenses and shit are going to be in the helmet, so it's going to be just like to give you the information, it's going to be like the Oculus 2 essentially. The feedback, they actually have the vibration in the controllers as well as the headset, which is kind of cool. It's going to be the USB Type-C, and it's going to be a built-in microphone with the stereo audio. And then they're calling the controller the Sense controller, so you're going to be able
big
to
upgrades.
Yeah, from where the first VR unit came from, yes. It's going to be better than the Oculus Quest 2, which I think clocks in at, it's like 1440. So I'm very excited about it, especially because it's going to be like, it's going to still connect to my PlayStation 5, right? But it's going to be with a single cord as opposed to a box and like 6 other cables, right? So that's going to be really neat for me. I don't have to worry about the battery life because it's being powered through the system, and the controller is going to be much better. So even in my tiny room, right, my office, I can play the Oculus Quest in here, pretty much fine with a majority of the games, like Beat Saber and any shooting game. It's usually like when I have to start swinging swords is when I get a little nervous with my shit in here. But I can connect that to my PlayStation, and I'm going to be able to start getting my trophies and shit like that on my profile with all the VR games that I have, because I've been picking up games as they come out, here and there. I've been picking out a bunch of games that are out for like PlayStation Plus, so I have a bunch of free ones. It's just gonna be really fucking cool that I'm gonna be able to jump in and enjoy it a little bit more. So I love the VR, regardless of what VR type you have, but
it's obviously only going to keep getting better and better and better. How long before we have the Demolition Man sex scene between Sylvester Stallone and Sandra Bullock, where they just put on a headset and experience banging each other without actually touching?
With all these sensory type controllers, like 2 years. And maybe a long, like a bunch of random cables, but who knows? That'll be pretty fucking neat, man.
It's probably inevitable, but we'll see.
I mean, they're already doing it on your phone with that whole, like the Samsung VR and shit like that. It just makes you feel like, you can't do anything. Like you're just laying there and you're getting service. You're like, I can't feel anything with this. Like, VR porn is so fucking a waste of time. But that's just me.
I haven't actually looked into it. I know it exists, but I haven't gone through the motions of like putting on the headset and searching for it. And
we have some friends who they're into that kind of, like they have their website, like they have a whole site that they, and so when they picked up their new phone, they bought the VR little attachment, and then when we were having a party, he's like, hey, yeah, check this out. So that's how I first saw it, where he's like, I'm just like wearing somebody else's fucking dick covered, shit watching their video.
Awkward. But hey, different strokes, I suppose.
Yeah, different strokes for yourself, because as much as it looks like they're doing it for you, they're not.
Yeah.
So, that's all that I have, man. That's all the news. It's been pretty slow, and what we're excited for.
As far as gaming.
Yeah, right. So, what were you playing over the break?
Over the break, I was playing, obviously, Halo Infinite. Like I mentioned earlier, I have beaten that campaign twice now. Once on normal, once on legendary. I did use the cheese gun. I used the cheese method for the legendary run. It was not a lasso run. I am working on that now, but it's much more difficult. And then PUBG. I was playing a lot of PUBG.
Yeah. Cool, man.
But I mean, it wasn't much. It was just a lot of the same, really.
Yeah. I played a lot of Halo. This was the first time, because I actually had the week off after Christmas from work. So when I woke up, I jumped into games and I played games all day, which was a nice reprieve from work that was driving me up a wall. So I played a lot of Halo Infinite multiplayer. I did a lot of the story. I still haven't beaten it, but I jumped into the multiplayer. I did all the challenges for last week, for the first time, or the week of New Year's.
Oh, the holiday challenge?
Yeah. No, so I completed that, but I did like regular challenges.
Okay.
And I completed that. So I got the splatter logo for my character nameplate, like the background.
Okay.
So it was one of those things where it's like, do everything on your challenge, and you do that, and you're like, okay, now do this last challenge, and you get the weekly reward. So I got that.
Nice.
So I don't think I'll ever be able to do that again, even though I'm getting close to this week's. Some of the challenges I don't think I'll be able to knock out, but that's because I'm not terribly great at the game. I just like to jump in and fuck around. But it's working out. I found that Tactical Slayer is one of my favorite games, one of my favorite game modes, and then that's behind Oddball. Fucking love Oddball. So that's what I did, and I played Tales of Arise and kind of did some trophy and achievement hunting by playing Paw Patrol and Airy. There's a bunch of games on sale, so.
Oh yeah, I did some achievement hunting myself. So I did like Firewatch. I started doing Paw Patrol. We played Aliens.
Oh yeah, we did play Aliens.
Yeah, so we played that together. I just dawned on me we did that, even though we both have weird, like, it didn't save your progress, and my progress is partially saved somehow. Like, I didn't get an achievement for beating the game, all the levels, but if you go in and go to level select, it says I've beaten them all, but the achievement isn't. It's just weird.
Yeah. We may have to go through and beat it again. I did go through and do the second mission of the last area, and then so now I just have to do the last one against the Alien Queen. And see if I can't make it save that way. So I don't know. Who knows? But I hope they do some updates. Like, I know that they've been doing shit for Aliens where they give out some updates, like new character, classes and shit like that, but like kind of, tighten it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Like the saves when we're playing, I don't need to say it's fucking saving every 30 seconds and freezing up my game for a little bit,
Yeah, it's kind of crazy that it's doing that on a Series X.
Yeah. So, which is not the Series X, that's the game itself then.
Correct. Imagine how much worse it was when I was trying to play on my Xbox One.
Yeah.
And my game would freeze for like almost 40 seconds.
Yeah.
But that's neither here nor there. That's past Dan's problem.
Yeah, past Dan. Get with the fucking program. So other than that, man, what have you been? Let's move on. What have you been watching? What did you watch over the break?
We watched all of Ted Lasso because it's awesome.
Fuck yeah, it is. So tell me about it, man. Like, come on.
I heavily relate to him in that he hates tea. Yes, he's right. He's right. It tastes like dirty water. Gross.
That's funny.
But he is the person that I wish I was, or at least had like my best friend was.
Right. I wish I had a friend like that.
Yeah, because he's like, I wish somebody brought me home baked goods every morning as just like a, hey, I like seeing you.
Right.
I have adopted something I noticed he does in the show. So when you ask somebody to do something or somebody does just something and you just say, hey, thanks, man, I appreciate that. I've noticed what he does in the show is he doesn't say I appreciate that. He says, I appreciate you. And it's a subtle difference, but I have started using that because I feel like it's more impactful.
I like that.
So if somebody does a favor for me, I don't say, thanks, I appreciate it. Or that. I say, thanks, I appreciate you.
That's cool.
It's subtle, but I picked it up from that show and I have started trying to incorporate it into my day-to-day life.
Nice. That's nice, man.
Trying to just be more positive.
I love that show. I think they're planning on wrapping it up with season 3, which is a shame, but I get it. Right? So I mean, you can't keep him around forever in England, right? Because he has family here in the States. So I think his story arc ends with wrapping everything up and then coming home. So
yeah, probably.
While that's a shame, because I would watch 10 seasons of fucking Ted Lasso. I like that it's just gonna be 3, and then it's gonna be like put a bow on it. You know what I mean? Like, it's such a great show. I can watch it over and over again. And without going too much, not doing any spoilers for that, but like in season 1, with how they brought him in and everything that was happening, like I would get upset. Like, you don't do that to Ted Lasso, God damn it. Like, I was like I felt for the character. I was like, he doesn't deserve you being an asshole to him. Like, he didn't do anything, you know what I mean? So it's like, right. I was always that person, like, yeah, it's like trying to stand up for Ted Lasso on TV while watching it. So I love that show, and I'm glad you finally got around to watching it, man. Yep.
Yeah, so, like I said, I wish I was more like Ted Lasso, but realistically, I'm more of a Roy Kent.
He's here, he's there, he's every fucking where.
Yeah, but he's also got anger management issues.
He's my favorite character in that show, next to Ted Lasso. I like Roy Kent a lot. Like I showed you the picture. Good. Like, I have the Roy Kent jersey. Roy Kent is awesome. I love, there's like that episode in season 2 where it was like the whole romance episode. You caught that, right?
Which part? That episode. But what about it?
Yes. Well, so it was like, where he was leaving his TV gig, and they're like, Roy, and he's like, you gotta let me go. And he's like, okay. It's like, it was very like a romantic movie type setup, and they were doing it throughout the entire episode, but that shit was so fucking awesome. Like, it's just like, yeah, Roy Kent is a brash, asshole a lot of the time, but you could tell he's changing, and it's really funny, like in certain ways that he gets, certain predicaments he finds himself in and how he reacts to them. Like, I really like Roy Kent, and I feel like I relate to Roy Kent more than I do Ted Lasso, but I would like you said, to be like Ted Lasso or have a friend like Ted Lasso. So
I enjoy Coach Beard as well as character.
I do, to a point. I mean, his whole episode, like, okay, so the concert I was supposed to go to was gonna be like that episode in season 2 that when he goes to that church basement.
Oh yeah,
that's what I was thinking of. I was like, man, this is the shit you see in TV.
Yeah. Well, there was. I'm not big on pun jokes generally. I think they're kind of just like they're just not my thing. But there was one in Ted Lasso that got me legitimately like belly laughing. And it was when somebody, I don't remember the exact scenario, but somebody walked out of the coach's office and Ted Lasso looked at Beard and was just like, man, that guy is a igloo inside of a teepee. and and Nate looks at them both, and Coach Beard's just like too tense. It's like, oh shit, that one got me. That one got me.
Dude, okay, so one of the things that we really like is I think it's toward the end of season 2 when Roy was talking. He was doing the Diamond Dog thing. Right?
Yeah.
And so first of all, when they do the Diamond Dog, he's like, so you're telling me that all you do is get together and talk about shit, and then you don't really just like
You don't do anything about it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and they're like, yeah, pretty essentially, and he's all cool. You know? So I really like that, but I really like at the end, like toward the end of the season where he sits there and he's like, you know, I love this, or I love you guys, or whatever. And then he leaves, and then he's like, oh my God, did you hear that? He's like, oh, he loves us. And like, that shit was so fucking funny. I'm going to watch that whole, the whole series again before season 3 comes out, just so it's fresh. I fucking love that show.
It's good.
And when they put it out as a collection, like on like 4K or Blu-ray or whatever, I'm definitely picking it up. It belongs on my shelf.
That's fair.
Oh man, it's so good. And Apple TV's they have some bangers on there, man. You know?
Yeah, there's a lot available. Same thing with HBO Max. I didn't realize how much was on there.
Damn.
Yeah. But other than that, I also watched and finished up, very, very, very close to finishing up Jessica Jones finally. That show's hard to follow, man. Every season, well, not every. There's only 3 seasons. Season 2 and season 3, they've been building up this big bad villain that she goes against, and then like 3/4 of the way into the season, they resolve that, and then they go on to another one. And it's just like, what? What is going on? Who is this? Why do we care about this? So it's, yeah.
I'll tell you, I didn't care about it after 4 episodes into season 1. So
yeah, that's fair. But I will finish this chronological order. Right. After this, it's back into the movies. So once I finish up Jessica Jones, it's on to Ant-Man and Wasp.
Okay, cool.
So I'm moving along. I'm almost there. I also watched Don't Look Up on Netflix,
which was amazing.
Which was depressing.
But yes, that's why it's amazing. It's supposed to be satire, right? But it's like everything that they're doing, everything that they're saying, like this is exactly how humanity would react to this thing.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
So, like, I loved when, it's like, everyone's like, well, that's crazy. The news people are like, hey, next up is, this cute puppy, whatever. He's like, what? Like, like, that's it. Like, it was such a good movie, man. It's like, I feel like not enough people are talking about this movie, which is a real fucking shame, So
it kept cracking me up every time they would go to Jennifer Lawrence's character. She would just be mid conversation about like, why would he charge for free snacks?
Oh, yeah. Right? It's like she was completely blown away by that. That was funny. Yeah, Don't Look Up. We did watch that as well. It was one of those things where we watched the trailer and I'm like, fuck it. We were supposed to watch one of our shows. And then we decided to put that on and run through that one. So we greatly enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was kind of the same for us where it was just kind of an impromptu. We were scrolling through and we were like, oh, yeah, this is out. Let's watch it. And yeah.
Yeah. If you haven't seen it, watch it. It's on Netflix.
Yes. So those, and then the other big 2 things that I have been watched, I think we're going to hold off until we're at the end of this segment for screen time.
Yeah.
So
that way we can tell people.
Yeah.
So
what have you been watching?
So we watched, Don't Look Up. We finished up Lost in Space season 3, which is the final season. I really enjoyed Lost in Space. The Netflix reboot. I thought it was really cool. I've always enjoyed Lost in Space as a whole. So I was very into this. I don't know if they wrapped up because Netflix was telling them to wrap it up, or if they really wanted to go on with a couple extra things. but it ended nicely, and it ended up on like an open end. So it's kind of one of those things where it's like, okay, now we know that these characters are going to go do this and that and stuff like that, and it leaves it open while ending the series. So if they do come back, they can pick up there or whatnot. But I really enjoyed Lost in Space, so we watched that one. We watched all of season 2 of The Witcher, which was great. Have you watched any of The Witcher?
I have not.
That needs to be on your list too. So it's based off the books, right? And the video game of the title, which was also based off the books. But it stars Henry Cavill, and then dude, it's just so. The first season, does like a little bit of jumping around, but that's by design. Second season is more straightforward, more linear. I will say that there's a song that appears, right? I don't know if you've heard it. I'm sure maybe toss a coin to the Witcher, to your Witcher or whatever. Like that was a song that they played in season 1 that gets stuck in everybody's fucking head because there's a bard that he befriends, and the bard is trying to make himself a legend by making Geralt a legend. And so that was the song he came out with, and the fucking internet went wild with it. Like it's really good, right? I enjoy listening to it to this day. Then in season 2, though, you come across the bard, right? And he has another song, and it's a straight fucking banger like the first one. And it's in a different way too, right? So he makes like, toss a coin to your Witcher is the upbeat pop type song, and then Burn Butcher Burn is his second song that he does in the second season. So he does like one song a season that's just straight fucking fire, and it has no right to be, but it's really good, man. So I do recommend watching The Witcher. So once you catch up on all your TV shows and stuff like that, put that on your list.
Good to know.
So we did that one. We finished F is for Family, which I think I talked about before the break. And then we watched Boba Fett, the Book of Boba Fett, episodes 1 and 2 that, these last 2 weeks. That one's interesting. So I'm not going to spoil that because it's so new.
Worth the watch?
Yeah.
Okay. Good to know.
Yep. So I wouldn't wait too long on that though, for people to spoil. They will spoil it for you.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
So but it comes out every Wednesday. So they're only on episode 2. And they're not that long. I think they're half-hour episodes, just like Mandalorian. So, maybe this weekend catch up on it. But aside from that,
what are you excited for to watch this year?
I am excited to watch Uncharted. So the Uncharted movie that's going to be coming out on January 18th. So that's starring Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg. It's essentially another video game movie, right? That's coming out. I'm very excited to see that in live action. While we won't get the same, I don't think it'll get the same levels for Tom Holland. That same level of success for him as Spider-Man No Way Home, because that,
of course,
because that's like fucking doing gangbusters. You know what I mean? I think it's like the 10th highest ranked, or shit,
grossing.
I can't talk. Yeah, exactly. Grossing film overall, number 1 best-selling movie of Sony's. So I think I'm glad that it did really well. But seeing him do something else, being Drake in Uncharted, it's gonna be a fun movie. And I'm being like cautiously optimistic because it is a video game movie, right? But I still want it to do well because I liked Uncharted, and I want to see this movie do really well so we can see another one. So that's what's coming out on January 18th. The next one's April 1st. That's going to be Morbius with Jared Leto. So I was skeptical in the movie when they announced it, but after seeing the trailer, I'm very much looking forward to it and seeing exactly what's going to be happening in that movie and how it affects the greater multiverse that the Marvel movies are all taking, that do their own thing and stuff like that. So, because I know it has ties to the Venom based on the trailer, right? And then it has ties to Spider-Man in some way, which looks like a Tobey Maguire Spider-Man based on the poster that you see in the Morbius trailer. So I'm kind of curious. Well, I'm very curious to see where it's going to go from that one. But I will say that on April 8th, another video game movie is coming out that I'm super pumped for, which is Sonic the Hedgehog 2. I can't get fucking more hyped if I wanted to, right? So it's the return of Sonic. Have you seen the first one yet?
I have not first one. Hey, you got some cutting in and out.
Oh, okay. So where is it cutting out?
I don't know. It just sounds like you're computerized almost a little bit. Not just a little bit.
Okay. So
but
Sonic the Hedgehog.
I have not seen the first Sonic the Hedgehog.
So you should get on that because it was fucking amazing, right? Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is coming out again, or coming out on April 8th, with the returning characters. You know, you got Sonic. I forget the actor's name who did it, but he's he's returning, the voice actor. You have Jim Carrey, he's coming back. You have Colleen O'Shaughnessy coming. She was the voice actor for Tails since 2010. So she'll be hitting it up. And then we get to see Knuckles, which is Idris Elba. So he's going to be voicing Knuckles in the sequel. So I'm very much looking forward to this one. They're putting a lot of care into these characters, a lot of care into this movie that we've seen in the first one, and it's bled over into the second one, which is very exciting for me. So I'm looking forward to that one. Then we have Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, May 6th.
This is on my list too. Oh, yeah.
So it's for obvious reasons, you know what I mean, where the multiverse is essentially fucked between Spider-Man No Way Home and Loki and fucking WandaVision, even to an extent, and if you want to, it'll bleed into Avengers Endgame with their whole time travel. I'm sure that's messed something up. So there's all kinds of things that have answers, that we're looking forward to. So May 27th, hopefully, we get Top Gun Maverick.
Hopefully.
Jesus, man, this movie has been on my radar since it was, since 2019.
It's been delayed for 3 years, right?
Yeah. They just keep pushing it back because they're so adamant about the theater release. And I feel like we have a window where movies are being in theater now. And by the time this comes out in May, we may be in another full shutdown. You know what I mean?
Yeah, who knows?
So just fucking let me stream it, man. Put it on Paramount Plus, because that's going to be coming out. I think that's part of it, right? It's going to be hitting Paramount Plus 45 days after the theatrical stint. So yeah, I may do a free trial and watch that. So we'll see. Then we have Thor: Love and Thunder, July 8th. Again, I don't really feel like it needs a whole lot of explanation why I'm excited for it. Some of the funniest moments were Thor and Star-Lord swinging dicks in the Avengers movies, and we're going to get a full movie with that, which is, I feel like this is the true Thor sequel, in the sense that it's following up Ragnarok, that's where it hit its stride, and it's going to follow that same beat. So that one's going to be fucking cool. And then Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse Part 1, October 7th, which is the sequel to the animated film Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. And I'm excited to see Miles Morales take on one of my all-time favorite Spider-Man, Spider-Man 2099, which is cool because he is a time traveler himself. So even this movie could fuck up the multiverse in ways that we are unaware of.
Are the animated Spider-Verse movies linked to MCU? I think I thought they were their own side, like they're independent of the MCU, right?
So they are, but with the relationship between Marvel and Disney, or Marvel and Sony, it wouldn't surprise me when shit starts to shatter, right? And you get to see things. In the first one, you see like all this web, right? And it's like essentially the web of time. It goes across all the multiverse. They showed off one of the Spider-Man that was from the video game on PlayStation from 2018. Like one of them had his suit. So
okay then.
So while it's on its own and it won't have a major effect on the MCU movies, I'm sure it's going to have some sort of repercussions with the whole time travel shit a little bit.
Oh, fair enough.
But that's it for movies. And then just my only TV show I'm looking forward to is Ozark season 4, part 1, which is essentially a show that's been scratching the itch I've had since Breaking Bad ended. Yeah, it's very good. If you haven't seen Ozark, again, that's one of my.
Everyone thinks of Jason Bateman. They think comedy, and he can do both.
Oh, he can do both, and he gets fucking like on point with the shit he has to do in Ozark.
Yeah, he's good. He is good at what he does.
Yeah, he's a great actor. Underrated, I think.
So I have some of the same movies you do. So Top Gun Maverick, Thor, Love and Thunder, Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness. Another one I have on my list is March 4th, The Batman. So this one is going to be kind of another reboot, which is a little bit unfortunate because how many times can we do this? Like we all know. But this is not a complete, pure reboot. We're not going back to the death of Bruce Wayne's parents and all that. This is apparently going to be taking place early in, him being Batman. So this is his second year being Batman. So he's still kind of learning things and figuring things out. But he's going to be going after the Riddler. That's going to be the primary villain in this one, played by Paul Dano. There's also going to be somebody playing Cobblepot. Colin Farrell is going to be playing Cobblepot. Not sure how far down that rabbit hole we go in this movie. They're probably going to be setting that up for the next movie is my guess. There's also going to be Selena Kyle, played by Zoe Kravitz. And the intent of this movie is for Warner Brothers DC to begin a shared universe concept, much like Marvel has been doing since Iron Man. Are they going to be able to pull it off? I guess that remains to be seen. I know that they were trying to do that already, and it just doesn't seem to be hashing out the way they want to. So I think they're going to try one more time.
I think it's because they're trying so hard not to do it the Marvel way that they're fucking shooting themselves in the foot.
Yeah, they just need to do it that way because it works.
Yeah. Hey, you're not. Who cares?
That's what people want.
Hey, you're not copying Marvel, but you have to do these individual movies to lead up to a bigger movie and then do everything else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Yep. And they need to base it off of their most successful character, which is Batman in cinema.
Right.
So I guess we'll see what happens. I know a lot of people are skeptical about the whole Robert Pattinson and being Batman thing, but how were we with Heath Ledger being Joker? It was the same thing. People were just like, "Oh, that's not going to work." It's just like that.
Well, even to an extent, it was the same way that people treated Michael Keaton as Batman.
Also accurate. So it's not that it can't be a shit show. It's that I am not going to make that assumption anymore about these kinds of castings.
I think it will be a shit show, but it's not because of Robert Pattinson.
Probably. But again, I'm not going to make that prediction ahead of time because too many times it's been proven false. So I'm going to go into it with a fresh set of eyes and hope for the best. We'll see what happens. I am looking forward to it, though. And that's going to be in theaters March 4th, 2022. TV shows I'm excited for this year are the Obi-Wan miniseries on Disney Plus. That's going to
Does
be.
Does that have a release date?
It's not a specific date. It's just sometime this year.
Okay, because that's why I didn't put that on my list.
Yeah, and it's going to be 6 episodes that are an hour long. So it's not going to be like an epic story.
Bullshit, man. That will be epic. That's all it needs. 6 hours.
This will be taking place 10 years after Revenge of the Sith and 9 years before A New Hope. So basically we're going to see how he got to Tatooine and what he's been doing since he got there is my best guess.
Right.
Because when A New Hope comes along, everybody knows who, Ben Kenobi is on the planet. So he has to build that reputation. So we'll get to see that, I'm guessing.
Well, yeah, to a point. I mean, Luke's uncle knew because, he knows who they are.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how they play that out and what becomes canon. The other TV show that I'm looking forward to is summer of 2022. No precise date given yet, but it's The Boys Season 3. Have you been watching that?
Yeah. Again, that was just another one that didn't have a release date. So, much like the other stuff, I didn't put that on my list.
Yeah,
but Boys is awesome.
I'm not nearly as worried about those being delayed because of anything, because those were intended to be released on streaming platforms as it is. Yeah. So I can't imagine that they would be like, oh, well, we can't get it into theaters, so we're going to they're not going to do that with the...
No, but it's more like reshoots or production has slowed because of COVID and shit, so they're not able to get out. Like, look at Stranger Things.
Well, I think they already filmed everything for Obi-Wan. Yeah. And probably The Boys as well, but I don't know for sure about that one.
Yeah. So hopefully Obi-Wan will be one of those things that pops off like at the end of the year, probably.
That's my guess. I'm guessing they'll do it in the fall because I think they're also going to be doing Mandalorian, and that has been an end of the year thing.
Maybe because Mandalorian was
delayed for filming.
Yeah, it was delayed, and they've only been filming it for not just a little bit as of November, whereas like Obi-Wan was probably fully filmed, so they'll probably do that one, and then with Boba Fett being out right now, they'll probably push Mandalorian off till next year.
Maybe. We'll see. So, either way, that's what I'm looking forward to this year on the screen.
Hell yeah. Cool, man. All right, well, let's... I do want to talk a little bit about Spider-Man No Way Home and Matrix Resurrections.
Yes.
So this is going to be your warning. I want to talk about it, so we're gonna do some spoiler type shit. So if you haven't seen those movies yet, go ahead and stop it now, and then I'll try to put some shit on the time code so you're aware of when we stop with the spoilers.
Definitely. So definitely an official spoiler alert here for Spider-Man No Way Home and Matrix Resurrections moving forward. So like Andy just said, we are going to be talking about spoilers. So if you want to avoid them, we really appreciate you listening. But if you want to avoid them, we recommend shutting off this week's episode here.
Or until after the timestamp.
or that.
Okay, so here we go. So first up, let's go ahead and I feel like the conversation is going to be a little bit shorter on Matrix. We're going to go ahead and jump into the Matrix. So we both saw Matrix Resurrections on HBO, correct?
Correct.
All right. What was your initial thought?
So the movie feels like it has two segments. And I enjoyed the first segment. The first 50% or so, I really enjoyed. I got some laughs out of it. There was a little bit of action. Just overall what I expected. A lot of meta jokes in there about like the whole shit talking Warner Brothers thing was pretty funny.
Yeah.
I also was able to easily link what was taking place as it related to the original trilogy and characters that were filling in for others and who was easy to follow. And then the second half just wasn't great, in my opinion.
So, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say it got confusing. They weren't really. I don't want them to hold my hand per se, but there were some things that just made no sense with zero explanation.
Right.
And then they just move on. So it was a little bit jarring at times.
I felt that way about the beginning of the movie. Overall, I would have rated this movie like a 6 out of 10. right? It wasn't bad, but it wasn't good. It was okay, right? It started off very choppy. I didn't like the whole Smith thing or the Morpheus thing that was happening. I felt like I don't know. I felt like they were trying to do a whole lot of new stuff, and to your point, like where it didn't make sense in certain instances, and then it started to smooth out in the middle of the movie and toward the end, and then the end kind of got a little bit jumbled up, a little, and then it just kind of wrapped itself up. So maybe this is something that you can explain it a little bit better, but Agent Smith isn't supposed to be around. I thought he was completely eradicated. It's not like Neo needs Smith, as somebody can always step up to the one, right? But it doesn't have to be Smith.
Sure. I don't know. Because that was my impression, was the whole reason in Revolutions that Neo Smith absorb him was that so the machine that he was attached to in the Machine City could recognize, oh, now we have Smith's code and we can eradicate him. And that's exactly what they did in Revolutions.
Right.
So where he comes from magically for no reason, again, I'm not sure. That's kind of what I was talking about with, okay, this is happening. How and why? He's just there because he was in the previous movies. Is that the only reason he exists? Why was he? I don't get it. Especially in such a prominent role in the new Matrix, where the analyst put him as Neo's boss at the company.
Oh, so, like the architect?
Well, he's
Neil Patrick Harris.
Yeah, he's the replacement for the architect called the analyst.
Oh, see, I thought he was the architect that took over. He was essentially promoted.
He basically did.
Okay.
What I got from it is the original architect was deleted. He was purged. And then the analyst was put in place to oversee the new Matrix.
Gotcha. And I do say that Neil Patrick Harris, that his character was awesome.
Yeah.
I really liked him. And I knew that he was somebody, right? So when he was sitting there and he was like the psychotherapist for Neo, right? For Thomas Anderson or whatever his name is. And you could tell just by the subtleties, his glasses were the blue plastic. So he's the blue pill, essentially, that's supposed to be keeping Neo in the Matrix.
Yeah, there was a lot of subtle things. But yeah, I agree. He killed it. NPH was really great in that role.
I really liked the whole garage scene, where he was talking about the bullet time and how they're using that against Neo, because of what Neo did and how they recognize what you could do with that. I thought that was all fantastic. It was neat. I like even the end where Trinity is also the one, because
or the two.
Yeah, they're the duo, essentially, because Neo never felt like he was the one. He never believed in the one, or that he believed he was the one. Trinity did. And so that thought goes back to her, where he believes she's the one, and that's what's giving them both that power to manipulate the Matrix the way they do. Which I like that a lot.
Oh, my understanding of why she had power, because at the very end, they both have the same powers again. Or he is back to normal and she has that power.
Right.
And my interpretation of that, or at least what I gathered, was in the original, quote unquote, in the original Matrix to us, because there was many before that, right? In the canon. In the original Matrix, he was the one and could do those things because he had access or understood the source code in a unique way. He was related to that source code in a unique way. Whereas in the new Matrix, the entire Matrix was built on both of their codes. So when they were able to be released and then tap into that potential, both of them have the code now in the new Matrix to unlock those powers.
Gotcha.
And that's why they both have it now. Not because she was always the one, but because now it's the two. Because the new Matrix is based not just on him, it's based on both of them now. Because it was rebuilt from scratch.
Okay. I like that. That said, I don't like how they brought her back. Right? Like, I thought she was dead, and I thought some of her ghost, I guess you would call it, her memories or her code would still be in the Matrix, but she couldn't be out of the Matrix.
Oh, you're talking about the bypass scene?
Yeah.
Where that was, again...
Well, that plus, like, they rebuilt her body. You know, like, that whole thing, like... I don't know. And maybe that's possible in the Matrix. You know what I mean? But that wasn't something that it resonated with me.
Well, the analysts explained how and why they did that.
Yeah. Because,
the two of them near each other was basically an unlimited source of energy. The two of them produced more energy than all of the other humans connected to the Matrix.
Right, but how she died and how they brought her back to life, I wasn't a fan of. You know what I mean? Like, she was a casualty and she should have been left as such.
I feel like they more cloned her than they did revive her.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I don't know. I mean, that
would make sense.
They kind of showed what they were doing to Neo with all the probing and grafting and all that. So, I mean, it's just a question of how badly damaged was her body. Would they be able to do that? But they could just as easily clone, I suppose.
That's true. I mean, if you can give Neo his fucking eyes back after being torched, I think you could repair any of those rods that went through her body in the third movie.
Yeah. Like, if you can replace an eye, you can replace a liver.
Right. That's true. It wasn't like she was disintegrated or ripped apart.
Right.
You know, just like him, he wasn't. I mean, his eyes were, but like you said, if you could repair his eyes, you could repair his liver. So, I
wasn't a big fan at the end of when they're in that cafe, and as she's walking out, she changes her mind. It was sudden. And it made no sense to have it be that abrupt without any explanation. It was literally, no, I have to go with my husband and kids. And then immediately it's just like, don't call me that name. And then beats the shit out of her husband. Like, there's no, like, as she's walking, you don't hear her doubting it. You don't see any expression on her face of doubt. Nothing. It's just 1 minute to the next. Boom. Change.
Yeah. No, I agree on that one. I also was not, like, I had an issue with Neo and all, really his only power that he ever did was, like, his force push.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, dude, you're supposed to be the one, and while some of that stuff I would think is kind of, like, still locked, I mean, the fact that you're like, I know Kung Fu still, and then you hardly used it in any of the sense, like, you could have used it in that cafe a lot more than just like a brawl, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you guys took on like a lot of people in a nightclub. You couldn't do that to just random cops, and then like Matrix zombies, which was another weird ass thing.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of the swarm zombies either. That was, no thanks.
So, like I said, between that, what we just stated, the whole Morpheus / Smith thing that Neo created, I thought that was kind of weird. Like,
the fight scenes in general too, I was not super impressed with. There was a few times when they were doing hand-to-hand stuff, and just for a brief moment, you could see that they were moving really slowly.
Yeah.
And so it kind of pulls you out of it a little bit. You're just like, okay, this is clear. Like, I understand it's a movie and everything's choreographed, but that was like they were very slowly swinging punches, making kicks on some of those scenes. There was also way too many times where they would throw somebody through a wall or something, and then they would slow down, and then 15 seconds of the movie would just be this person going through a wall.
Yeah.
And that would happen every 12 seconds for like 15 minutes. Like when they came in and they were fighting the Merovingians goons.
Yeah, the weird zombie thing.
Yeah, they were the not the rejects. What do they call them?
I forget.
There was a specific name for those types of programs, but the Merovingian served no purpose, brought nothing to the movie. He's just ranting and raving, adds nothing to the storyline. And that entire fight scene, both up above where they're all fighting those programs and down below where Neo is fighting Smith, like everything was just kind of boring for a fight scene.
Yeah. No, I agree. So, I mean, I haven't looked too much into the, how much it made, or I think Rotten Tomatoes wasn't giving it all that great, but we'll see if they do a sequel, because I think they had that planned.
Yeah, everything people have said is, no, we have no plans to go anything beyond this, which I suppose isn't too surprising, because look what they were saying in the beginning, the dialogue. No, Warner Brothers is forcing us to make a fourth Matrix. They can do that. Yeah, they can do it with or without us. Like it was very meta, but I suspect that there's a lot of truth in that whole scene.
Yeah, that makes sense. So it's like we're doing this to make sure nobody else does. But at the same time, like maybe you should have.
Yeah,
because
maybe.
Just because you did it doesn't mean it's going to be good. And you could have, you could have heard it more because you didn't want anybody else to do it, even though you didn't want to do it. Then if somebody was like, I love the Matrix and I love the lore and I played the game, so I know where the lore goes and we can make it into something, yada, yada. And it could have been something else.
Haven't the past few movies from the Wookiees also been pretty terrible, generally?
I haven't actually paid attention to them so much as to what they've been doing.
Well, I know Jupiter Ascending was one of theirs.
Oh yeah, that didn't do all that great.
It didn't do well. There was another one, but I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head.
But anyway, so that's where I'm at. I mean, some people really liked it, some people really hated it. I'm just, I'm in the middle.
I'm in the middle.
So I'm glad I saw it, but I probably won't watch it again when I do like a Matrix run through.
Right. Yeah, the whole city thing too with Niobe.
I wanted more of that.
Yeah, I wanted more explanation of like what the hell's been going on. What happened to the actual Morpheus? It was just he was elected. Well, I gathered that, but he was elected leader, and he really liked that. But then there was a new power, and he kind of just ignored it. And now I'm the leader.
So that doesn't make any sense either. Like, so they did a video game right after the Matrix, after the third one for the Xbox called Enter the Matrix.
Yeah,
and that was written and directed by the Wachowskis. Right? They killed Morpheus in that game. An agent gunned him down. So I thought that was weird that like his whole power hungry ignorance was put into this movie.
Yeah. So who knows? Again, there's no explanation. There's no backstory. It's just he was elected leader and something happened and now I'm here. Okay,
right.
Moving on. I'm going to lock you up in a dungeon because you want to go.
Yeah.
Okay. By the way, try this strawberry on your way out. Okay, bye.
I wanted more. I wanted it to be fleshed out because I was really excited that I got to see Niobe because she was one of my favorite characters in the original trilogy.
Yeah. Where was anybody else? Like, why didn't they bring back? I can't remember his name, but he was the one that was like hounding Neo all the time.
Yeah. Not Mouse.
It wasn't Mouse. It was the one that got in the mech suit.
Yeah.
Like, he probably was young enough to still be alive. if Niobe was still alive, he probably would have been young enough to also still be alive, unless he was killed.
It's Kid.
It's literally Kid.
Yeah, I typed in Matrix Kid, and it popped up. Kid.
Oh, no
Kid
shit.
in the Matrix. It was the blue pill. That's all his name was Kid.
Yeah. So where is he still around? Why would he not come running if he heard Neo was there?
Right.
Why wasn't everybody in that city freaking out when Neo comes back?
Well, not everybody. Everybody was in Zion.
Right, but there's still.
No, they could have used that excuse to kill everybody because the machines attacked Zion.
Right, but now it's a new city. Where did all these people come from?
I think they left when Morpheus was control of Zion, and then Zion, just fell, and then they had this other city that was hanging out.
Okay, but those people still originate from Zion, so they would know these stories.
That's true.
It's only 60 years. This isn't centuries have passed. This is still living memory. Niobe's still alive, so others must still be alive.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know.
So, I don't know. There was a lot of not explained stuff that kind of just annoyed me. And the fight scenes were kind of bland and
yeah. So that was The Matrix. And then we'll move on to Spider-Man No Way Home. Right. So we had. So I went and actually saw that in theater. Did the whole mask thing the whole time, and I unfortunately, I would have rather have seen it at home, but I'm glad I saw it in theater because what a fucking movie, man! And holy shit, that is my favorite MCU movie to date.
Wow.
So. I loved it. It fucking brought out some goddamn emotions in me, I'll tell you that. You know what I mean? So we were watching it. All right, I don't know, what was your initial thought on that?
On the movie itself?
Yeah, as a whole.
It's solid 10 out of 10. Easy. It was well done in every aspect. There was, minimal stuff that I could point out. That was just kind of what? But beyond that, it was really good. I felt I'm with you on that.
So, overall, again, it was a 10 out of 10 for me. My favorite MC movie, followed by Avengers Endgame, and then, my top 3 following that up with Winter Soldier. I really liked seeing where they were going after the second movie, after he, Peter Parker was ousted by Mysterio. This is who Peter Parker is. It did a very good job at him trying to deal with what happened. Even when it was he's trying to live his life still, trying to get into college. His friends are being rejected from college because they know Spider-Man and, he's essentially a murderer, quote unquote on that one. And then I liked how he was trying to do something right the entire time, and it messed everything up in true Spider-Man fashion and Peter Parker fashion. It's the Parker luck, right? Whereas he tries to do something good and it just fucking messes up everything. I liked being able to see all the villains come back. I even liked when all the other Spider-Man actors showed up, where you had the older cool Tobey Maguire and you had, the Andrew Garfield, those Peters. It was really fucking neat to see that.
Did you bring your suit, or are you just going to stay dressed as a cool youth pastor?
Right? They had a lot of jokes. Those were my favorite interactions, was those 3 together.
Yes.
I hey, Peter? Yeah. The Peter Parker. Yeah, we're all Peter. Hello. That was awesome. You know what I mean? I like that they're, and from the movie when you look at all three of them, they clearly played into the age of the actor and how they would be Spider-Man now. You know what I mean? Tobey Maguire was the older one, Andrew Garfield was the middle kid, and then Tom Holland was the younger one, where it's like all these other Peter Parkers went through their strife, right? And they had to deal with Uncle Ben dying and, their losses, and they're trying to help out this Peter Parker, Tom Holland's Peter Parker, because, which this upset me, like hot Aunt May is gone. You know what I mean? Yeah. When she died, I fucking lost it. I was so upset, because it was an emotionally powerful scene, and like all he's trying to do is be right, and these villains fucked it up for him and killed. It wasn't like his coming of age tale like Uncle Ben, where he failed to stop a burglar. You know what I mean? And like out of spite because he didn't get his pay. You know what I mean? Or it's like that. Dude, that sucked. Like, now, I didn't want her to die at all, but when she did, like, I felt for that character, for sure. And then the final battle, which was awesome. I loved seeing those guys talk, but, like, at the end, when Peter Parker was like, the only way to make this go away is for me to go away. I need everybody to forget Peter Parker.
Yep.
And that was fucking heartbreaking, like, Jesus, at the end, man, like, movies will get me, games will get me, where I'll like cry a little bit here and there, but this fucking movie, it grabbed hold of those feels and it didn't fucking let go. I
had a slight moment, and this was maybe one of my favorite moments in the entire movie, is when Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man got to redeem himself by saving MJ.
Yeah. People enjoyed that one for sure in our theater, and he was upset. Like I could see it. He was happy, but sad at the same time. It was like bittersweet for him.
Yeah.
Like that. Fuck, man. At the end of the movie, like when we were leaving, right? And like the credits or whatever, like Mary was crying, right? 'Cause she's easy to get to in certain movies, but like she looked over and she's like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "They just shit on this character." Like they just shit on him. He lost everything. You know what I mean? Like it fucking got me. Like that, I cried hard on that one. I was like, they shit on him. Like, he can't do anything. And I knew, like, fuck, man.
I do feel like he would be able to convince, like, Doctor Strange, especially, of the truth.
Yeah,
he would be able to convince him because he would know things that Doctor Strange nobody should know, like hey, you tried to do this spell and we fucked it up, and then you did this and everybody forgot me, and I know exactly how many times you've envisioned the future fight with Thanos. We got evaporated. We were on this planet together.
We were on Titan.
Yeah, we were on Titan. Like, he would be able to recount things that nobody else would know. I feel like that would be very convincing to not just Doctor Strange, but pretty much any of the Avengers.
Right.
If he just got the chance to talk to them. I think that's going to be the hurdle. Because why would they talk to some random kid that walked into the Sanctum, you know what I mean? Or walked into Avengers headquarters in upstate New York.
Right. Yeah.
So he'll have to work on getting their attention, but I think that there's a way he can convince them, like, hey, I know you, I'm one of you. Yeah.
No, I got that. It's just like I know Spider-Man has always been that everyman hero where he's relatable to everybody, from small children to fucking older guys that grew up watching this shit. But at a certain point, man, like, certain characters need to have a break,
Yeah.
And
does he still have the Stark nano suit?
Nope. It was destroyed during his fight, and he can't repair it.
Oh, that's right.
That's why at the end of the movie, you see him sewing, like the sewing machine.
That's right.
So he's wearing the standard, like, cloth spandex outfit.
That's right.
you know.
So
I was just like, that's what really was upsetting. You know what I mean? It's like, not only did you lose Aunt May, but you lost your best friend. You lost Mary Jane. You know, you lost MJ. You lost Happy. Right? And this is just not that long after losing, you know, like Tony Stark, who was supposed to be your father figure.
yeah.
Right? You lost, I mean, to your point, that he could probably convince them otherwise, but the relationship is going to be slightly different. But he lost, you know, his Avenger family. You know what I mean? It's like all his friends in school, like, dude, everything and everybody. It was just like, fuck, man. It was so heartbreaking. Like that I don't know. I love this movie.
I assume it's going to be a good opportunity for him to start taking Spider-Man photographs and selling them to J. Jonah Jameson.
Yep.
To make money, because what else is he going to do?
Yeah, I mean, I see, like, now it's reset itself to be the Spider-Man of the status quo that we are aware of. You know what I mean? But that fucking journey, goddamn, man. Heartbreaking. But that's why I love the movie. You know what I mean?
It was good.
My favorite games and movies were like the fucking heroes die. You know, essentially Peter Parker died in this movie.
In a way, yeah.
You know? But like, it was crazy. It was so fucking good.
Yeah, I feel like there's not enough movies that end with the bad guy winning, or maybe not even the bad guy winning, but definitely the good guy losing.
Infinity War was the other one in the Marvel movies anyway.
Yeah. But then it redeems itself, obviously.
Yeah. And even then, they still lose. Like, I mean, Tony Stark loses.
Tony
Stark dies,
but
he loses.
Yeah. Tony Stark dies, and Steve Rogers ages.
Yeah, so, Steve Rogers, that was always interesting to me. For, you know what I mean? It's like Captain America got a life that he thought he never deserved, and Tony Stark ended up how he always thought he was going to.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's kind of fortuitous. Like, Tony saw his death many times.
Yeah,
he was, ever since Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
So, him for years, and I understand why Rogers did what he did. He had the opportunity. Why not?
Yeah, I saved this galaxy. I saved this universe.
What else is left for me to do?
Right.
I'm going to go back and live my life.
Yep.
So, yeah, I get it. But then here we have in No Way Home, what is it, like 2 months after the events of Endgame?
Yeah.
You have him losing everything after all of that, starting from nothing.
Right. Yeah, like, dude, it was really good, you know? So, fuck. I can't, I'm going to watch it as soon as it comes out. That'll be when I buy day one.
You'll watch it. You watch it again.
I will watch it again.
And again and again.
Yep.
Yeah, I know it's out of my MCU timeline, but I had to see it while it was theaters.
Yeah, but you've seen everything already.
Correct.
So even with, like, you know, minus the shows that have... So I will say that I was very excited about Charlie Cox being in Spider-Man.
Oh my God.
Dude,
yes.
I lost my fucking mind. I was like, yes.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, there he is. And Mary's like, there he is. So I was like, woo. And I like that. And that's another thing too. Like, he could talk to him. Not that he has any reason to anymore, but he could talk to Matt Murdock and tell him all of this stuff. And Matt Murdock's going to believe him because of how he's saying it. He can, like, zone in on his heartbeat and know he's telling the truth.
That's true. But he doesn't know for certain that he's who he is. He just knows him as a blind lawyer who he knows brick.
Something's up.
He knew
a blind man caught a brick flying through a window,
from behind him.
Yeah.
he knows something's up, but is he going to think about that? Probably not. Not with everything else that has happened. That's going to be a minor detail that gets overlooked.
I understand that, but you never know if like Spider-Man runs into Daredevil. That could be one of those things where it's like, wait a second.
I guess technically, Tom Hardy and Venom are part of the MCU proper now. Because
they are, but yeah,
a little bit of the symbiote got left behind.
Yep. And I think that Sony's said that Venom is going to fight Spider-Man, and we assumed that it was going to be Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
So he's going to attach to an Eddie Brock or Flash Thompson, right? Spider-Man's best friend in whatever. He's going to attach to one of those characters because both those characters did that in the comic book.
Yeah. So it'll find someone.
So, and I think that's going to be the next trilogy that they're working on. And they've already talked about it, even though Tom Holland said, I don't think we're coming back. You know, you had Kevin Feige and I forget her name that worked with them. And they're like,
Catherine something, right?
Yeah. And they're like, we're already working on the next trilogy. So,
yeah. And if they say that they've got some plans, I give them the benefit of the doubt at this point. They've been running the show for 14 years,
right?
15 years, and they've been consistently knocking it out of the fucking park. So I will give them the benefit of the doubt until they are done.
Yep. I don't know how they're going to end the MCU. You know what I mean? But
it'll fade away. It won't end.
That's true.
That's what will happen. It will get to the point where, either they aren't interested in doing it anymore, or they retire, or they die. Sadly, that's just how things go. And somebody else will try, and it won't be the same, and it'll just wean away. People will lose interest. People will stop going. It'll stop being huge blockbusters, and they'll shift away from it.
Right.
That's my prediction. Now, that's not going to be in the next year or two. That's a long ways out, I'm guessing. Short of sudden death for some reason for one of the major players.
But even then, they'll find a way. I mean, Black Panther's supposed to be coming out this year, allegedly.
Yeah, but you still have the same puppet masters, so to speak.
Right.
You still have the guiding light over that. Like, the individual components can be switched out. I guess a good way you could look at it is a vehicle that is driven in NASCAR is the same whether I drive it or a professional NASCAR driver drives it. But who's going to drive it better?
That's true.
Who's going to get the most out of it? It won't be me. Right? So it really depends on who's in control of the overall thing. Like, okay, you need new tires halfway through, swap them out. But the driver is the same. You need whatever you need, you can switch out those parts, but the driver is still in control. And that is one of the most critical components, in my opinion. For thinking of that metaphor right off the top of my head, it works really fucking well. I'm going to give myself a pat on the back for that.
Yeah, fuck yeah, man. All right. Anything else you want to say about Spider-Man?
Just that Jessica, I know you're listening. I hope you enjoyed the movie 2 days ago, which is tomorrow.
That's true, because it comes out, we're dropping this Monday.
Yeah, I went to go see it last week, and then tomorrow I'll stay home with the kids and she'll go see it.
Fucking A. Well, I hope you enjoyed it, Jessica. Give her some tissues. Be like, Andy says you might need these.
Okay, I'll do that tonight. Actually, I'll give her one of those little travel packs.
Right. Like give her or give her like a little pack of something, like maybe some M&Ms. Be like, hey, I got you some movie candy. Just tuck it in your purse, and then when she goes for it, there's like a little note saying you might need these.
It could work.
It could. All right, so let's
got nothing else.
Let's wrap this shit up, right? So we have our favorite segment, right? What segment?
It is Q&A with DNA.
Q&A with DNA.
Man, this is a pretty good long episode. I'm liking it. It flowed. Like this conversation was very nice. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you.
I appreciate my time with you as well. And I appreciate my time with all of our listeners.
All right. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, Dan. If you could donate $1 million to charity, which one would you choose?
I would create my own 501c3 and I would donate it to that. No, I'm just kidding. I would probably give it to the Marine Corps Scholarship Foundation. So they provide scholarships for individuals who lost parents in combat.
Oh, that's okay. That's cool.
Yeah, so I would probably do that. There's also an organization out there called Folds of Honor. They're pretty good too. But it would probably be the Marine Corps Scholarship Foundation.
Nice.
Or the Wounded Warrior, not Project, the Wounded Warrior Regiment. I might give it to them also. So it'd be one of those two. Wounded Warrior Project has a ton of overhead, and there's been some question about how they spend their money. Wounded Warrior Regiment is like, it's part of the active Marine Corps. It's overseen by the Marine Corps. It's not its own thing. And I get a call from them still every year, once or twice a year. I get a call from the Marine Corps to check up on me because I'm a Purple Heart recipient.
That's awesome.
They just call and say, how are things going? Are you having any troubles? Do you need help with anything? Where are you living at these days? Are you in a stable home? They ask all those questions once or twice a year. And if I need anything, I can call them anytime and they'll put me in contact with people who can help. And I'm in a good place where I don't need those services, but
it's nice that they actually take that time to reach out to you.
Right. And there are a ton of people. I know more people that have killed themselves since they've gotten out than were killed in Iraq. So people need those resources, and I would give my discretionary money based on that question. I'd give it to, an organization that could help those people.
Fucking A. Cool, man. I mean, it'd be something that, we don't have the millions of dollars, but that might be something that Dandy Digital might be able to be a partnership with.
Yeah, we could definitely. Into. Yeah, we could explore that.
Cool, man.
So, let's not skip your question this time. What is the scariest movie of all time?
Scariest movie of all time?
Obviously, it's subjective. It's whatever you think the scariest movie of all time is.
Baby Driver.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
No, that's not. I've never seen it either. That's just like, it's supposed to be, I don't know. It's not scary at all. That's what it is. I don't know. Scariest movie of all time? When it comes to horror movies, man, I am such a chicken shit that they could all at some point be considered scariest. I would say the scariest movie. Fuck, I honestly don't know. Like, I really don't have anything for that. I will say that the scariest movie for me as a kid was Child's Play. Right?
Okay.
Because it's like, you have shit like Toy Story, and you have Small Soldiers or Toy Soldiers or whatever the fuck it was. So it's a common thing that people have in their brains where your inanimate objects come to life, right? So Child's Play, for its time, really pushed into that. And I saw 1, 2, and 3, at an age that I probably should not have seen it. And so, for 2 months, when I went into the bathroom or anything, I checked behind the curtain. I checked in the cabinets. You weren't about to catch me with my pants down. Child toy from fucking hell. So that was the scariest movie for me as a kid. As now, it's just I I don't know. I think that things aren't scary, but they still get me, and just regular horror movies. You know what I mean? I would think anything from like The Conjuring or anything that's like on the East Coast that's paranormal. That shit scares me. Those are scary movies because I truly believe that shit exists, and I don't want to ever live on the East Coast for those reasons. You know what I mean? I don't want to live in Maine or Connecticut because bad shit happened there, and they're gonna take it out on me, some poor soul from the West that didn't do anything. You know?
Yeah. One of these days. I've got some plans to freak out Jessica, but I don't want to disclose them here because she'll be listening. But they're in that vein of paranormal type of stuff.
Yeah. So,
which I agree. Now, those movies to me, because I'm the opposite. I believe that there's an explanation for what people think they see as ghosts or whatever. It's not to say that those things don't happen. I'm just saying that there's probably an explanation other than paranormal. That's just my opinion.
Right.
I could be wrong. I have no idea. I have no way to prove myself right or wrong. So what I consider scary movies are more things that are based in reality. Like you see these biopics about like serial killers and the horrible shit that they do. That is scary to me because that's fucking real. Like they're making like Leonardo DiCaprio is making a movie right now about H.H. Holmes and his murder castle in Chicago during the World's Fair. That was a real fucking place and a real fucking person who did horrible shit to real people. That is scary to me, personally, because that still happens today. Like there are serial killers out there right now, just doing their thing, that nobody has any clue, and they do some horrific shit.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's just my opinion. And then you got suspense stuff like Jaws. Or I know I've read in the past, polls on like, oh, what's this? And it doesn't have the majority of votes, but it has the most votes is The Exorcist.
For the scariest movie?
Yeah. But you watch that movie today and it's pretty outdated.
Right.
But if they were to remake it with today's technology, yeah, it'd probably rank up there again.
Which I think they might have, or not too long ago, right? Or they wanted to.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really follow horror movies. They're just not really my thing.
Yeah.
They may have, but I don't know.
Well, I'm sure we'll come across it if that was a thing. But that's it, man. That's all I got.
And I will say the scariest, like, it's not even a movie, but I can go through like a haunted house and be relatively okay for pretty much all of it. But that motherfucker at the end with the chainsaw, I don't care. I know that there's no chain on the chainsaw. I know it's harmless, but that fucking noise awakens something primal in me that I have to get away. I have to get away from it. Like no. Nope.
That's awesome. Like, yep, zombie. Yep, clown. Oh my God, it's a chainsaw. Get the fuck out of here.
It's probably because I watched the movie Scarface way too young as a child.
See?
That's probably what it is. So, anyways, I got nothing else. I'll stop blabbering.
Fucking A, man. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Jabberbox episode 26. Thank you so much for joining us, and don't forget that we post each and every week about whatever it is we want to talk about. If you like that, please join us over on patreon.com/dandydigital, where you can write in and be part of the show and get the episodes early. If you have no bucks to toss our way, that is just dandy. Please find us and subscribe to us on YouTube or any of your podcast services that you favor, and rate us to help us grow the show into something bigger and better. Until next time, we appreciate you.